Hello and welcome back to the Drake and Josh podcast. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Trevor.
And today we watched I Love Sushi.
Which is an I Love Lucy reference.
And yeah, it's basically about them with an early 2000s renovation show.
So, wait, you're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead a little bit. We do the cold open.
Yeah.
Where, as usual, Drake and Josh are like going on about, you know how Drake does this thing, or Josh is like, you know how Drake does that thing. Except this time it's like, you know, whenever I get involved with something for Drake or Josh, things go wrong, you know? And then they look at the camera and they're like, oh, you do know?
Yeah, like Dora the Explorer style, where like the audience is supposed to respond.
The audience is basically screaming at them,
bizarre.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
100%. That's what this whole show is about. And they're like, oh, I mean, I guess if you get it, like I was going to tell this whole story, give examples of like how their other person's annoying. And they're just like, but I guess if you already know, then enjoy the show.
Yeah. It was definitely a meta little fucking intro. But let's start out with what we've been doing in the meantime, because this is the first recording session, or the first episode of a recording session.
In the new studio.
Yeah, the new studio. So I'm fully moved into new apartment with Abby. The sunroom is no more. The sunroom recording studio
is dead.
Yeah, now we're in the second bedroom, which is like an office that turned into, basically.
It's a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's definitely a bigger apartment than the last one. And we also got a cat.
We got a cat. Well, I also helped you move in.
Yes, Trevor helped move in and he almost died.
Maybe a little bit. It was hot.
It was very hot.
Moving crap up those. So your old apartment was on the first floor.
Yeah.
It's on the ground floor. It was great. This one is on the second floor, and carrying stuff up the stairs was not fun.
Yeah, it sucked. I had to carry up the couch and the mattress with my dad. That was heavy as fuck.
Yeah, because me and your dad loaded the couch and mattress into the trucks.
It's worse carrying it up the stairs.
Yeah, it was, but that's why I didn't do it, because I was like, you can do your own stuff.
But yeah, we also got a cat. His name is Pip.
He's adorable.
He's pretty silly. He's 3 months old.
He's a good boy.
He's not in the room right now because he'd be meowing like crazy, and biting the cables of my computer.
He's with Abby out in the living room.
The producer.
So yeah, our recording studio is actually like separate from the rest of your apartment. Before, we were just straight up in your living room.
Yeah, we were. Well, it was a smaller apartment.
And now it's like we can close the door and we're like alone.
In our nice little hot box room.
It's not hot in here.
It's a little bit warm. Probably should. Well, the fan's actually kind of noisy.
Yeah, you don't want any like airflow coming in here.
So what have you been up to?
More the same. More working at the radio station. We did another stint of work on that reality show that I do. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
You got your pup?
I mean, I had Piper last
Did we talk
time.
about Piper last time?
I believe so. Also, I was sick last week, which is why if my voice sounds a little bit funny, that's how I sound. But also, it's probably because I'm sick. I know my voice is not great. But...
And also, I am drinking a...
Oh, we are drinking. We didn't clink because we're drinking out of cans. And that doesn't sound very good on the microphones.
I'm drinking a Sunshine City Indian Pale Ale from Green Bench Brewery in St. Pete.
I'm drinking a Passion Wheat from Jubb's Brewing Company in Sarasota. 2
Florida beers. The IPA is real good.
We hit up some breweries earlier. If any of you follow our Twitter, you saw that.
Yeah, we did. We went to Caledonia Brewery in downtown Dunedin.
Had some business meeting talk.
We did. We had a business meeting. Abby got heated.
She was not happy with us.
Listen,
that's okay.
We're just trying to come up with the next format, you know?
It's all right.
Which we won't talk about, obviously.
Because Abby yelled at me last time I talked about it.
She had to cut a lot of what Trevor said.
You didn't get it all, apparently.
Yeah, well, you can never can. So yeah, basically this episode starts off with them. They're at the premiere, right? And Drake has that really weird girl with him, the syrup girl.
Yeah, Josh is just working, and Drake shows up with this girl, and Josh is like, hey guys, what's up? And Drake's like, yeah, we're gonna go see a movie. Josh is like, oh cool, do you guys need any snacks? And she's like, pancakes.
Yeah, and he's like, he just looks around. And he's like, well, this is a movie theater.
The fuck?
So how about some popcorn?
Okay.
And she just takes out a whole bottle of syrup and just proceeds to squirt all of it in there until it's completely empty.
She drains an entire bottle of, I'm pretty sure, Log Cabin.
You think so?
It was not Miss Butterworth's.
No.
A, it was too runny. B, that bottle did not look right for Miss Butterworth.
Right on.
Miss Butterworth, I can't talk. Miss Butterworth is way too thick, I feel like, for...
Yeah, that one was a very thin syrup.
Mm-hmm. And she just drenches it. And one of Josh's coworkers then runs up and is like, hey, Josh, the guys from
Pump My Room.
Pump My Room? Was it Pump My Room or Raid My Room?
Pump My Room.
Okay.
You're thinking of the thing I said earlier. Room Raiders.
Right, Room Raiders. Okay. Pump My Room are here, and they're like looking for people who want their room raided.
Mm-hmm.
And Drake and Josh are like, oh my God.
Well, they want the room pumped up.
Pumped up.
You're still thinking of Room Raiders. So, Room Raiders, to give you guys a little hint behind the scenes, me and Trevor had started to record this episode.
We've started this episode probably 4 times.
And each time something goes awry.
Usually me.
So, the first time we started recording, we got about 2 minutes in, and Trevor eventually noticed that he wasn't recording his mic. It was on mute.
I was looking at my waveform, and I'm like, that looks really small.
You're like, I'm not showing up. But I was talking about Room Raiders, and then I talked about the show Next on MTV.
Neither of which I've ever heard of.
They were great shows, though. I recommend watching Room Raiders for sure. And Next, both for the memes.
Next, I feel like I would not enjoy being on.
No, but it's fun to watch. Because the people just get fucking ousted. And they're all ridiculous people. They have things like in their little bio that is just like retarded about
Also,
them.
neither of these are home improvement shows.
Well, no. So they go over to the Pump My Room guys and they want to sign up for the show.
Yeah.
So basically they're like, what do they say to them? They just need to write down their address or some shit. Oh, and they need to make a video.
They need to make a video explaining why they deserve to have their room pumped up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, all right, awesome. Sounds cool. And then the girl that Drake was with comes out of the movie theater because she went in before them. She comes out and her hands are just covered in popcorn and syrup. She's like, where's the ladies' room?
No, the little girl's room.
The little girl's room.
Right?
And Josh just looks at him and is like, gaper.
So then they go back to their place and they try to record a video. So it does like that classic thing where like it looks like a camcorder. And they put like a filter over the screen.
But before that, they were like planning out their thing. Like, oh my God, wouldn't it be awesome? What would we put in the room? Like, what does this room need? And they're like a hot tub and all that stuff. And Megan,
when they're up in their bedroom.
Yeah, when they're up in their bedroom. And Megan comes in and is like, I'm borrowing your hot glue gun. And they're like, can you knock? And she's like, can you have a normal sized head? No. So she's such a bitch. It's ridiculous. It wasn't even clever. That was just mean.
She is just kind of mean.
And so she talks about their parents' 5th anniversary is coming up. And like she's making their gift or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Josh is like, hey, how about instead we ask the Pump My Room people to do the living room
Instead of their bedroom.
for mom and dad's anniversary.
Yeah.
And they're like, Drake's against it, of course.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of selfish.
He's a bitch.
He's kind of a punk. But then they do it. They talk into it, and then they start, the classic just camcorder filter over the studio quality camera.
Yeah. Yeah, so they start making a video of them trying to basically get them to pick them so they can do their parents' living room. Mm-hmm. And they make a joke that one of them should have cried at the end. And Drake is just like, all right, I'll punch you in the kidney. And that's when the doorbell rings. And Josh is just like, I'll get it.
No. And some kid shows up and is like, with an open plate of nachos.
A kid with the worst fucking haircut on earth. He's got like such a mop haircut.
He really does. It's a mop. And
Yeah, he's got the open plate of nachos.
which, first of all, red flag.
And he's like, nachos for Drake and Josh.
And Josh is like, we didn't. Or Drake's like, yes, of course.
Yeah, and then Drake's like, tip the nacho boy.
He gives him 5. He's like, do you have change for a 5? And he's like, nope, and closes the door. So they start eating the nachos, and Josh is like, we shouldn't eat these. They're for somebody else. We didn't order these.
Yeah.
And as they're doing this, it's like, oh my God, these nachos are delicious. Why can't I move my mouth? And they should have died right then and there. When they swallowed it, it should have clogged their throat. And
Yeah, it should have killed them straight away.
But no.
But it didn't. It just kind of closed their mouth, so they were talking like this. Yeah. And I saw at one point, Josh accidentally opened his mouth like a gape because he was supposed to be like in shock or whatever to what the person was saying. But then he had looked at Drake at the same time and realized he wasn't supposed to open his mouth and like close it back up. But they kept the cut. They were like, that was a perfect take.
It was a good cut. Whatever. Nobody noticed.
Also, I'd forgotten a couple lines I had written down as in my notes.
Do you want to? Yeah, go back and do them.
One was the coupon book you found in a dumpster. That was in relation to what they got their parents on their 4th anniversary.
Well, that's what Drake got them for their 4th anniversary.
And then I don't remember where this line is from. Feel free to stop breathing anytime. I don't remember when that was said, but it was apparently a quote.
Oh, it was Megan's talking about how busy she is. She's like, between oboe practice, school,
Oh, right.
and collecting antique sponges, I barely have time to breathe.
Yeah,
And Drake's like, feel free to stop breathing at any time.
and then she looks at him and he just points at Josh and says, he said it.
He very much did not.
But yeah, so they eat the nachos and it closes their mouth, and that's when Tyler is introduced to them as Megan's new assistant. Because she's been so busy.
Yeah, she needed some help with tormenting Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
So Tyler gets introduced, and they're left with their mouths glued shut by special sticky cheese, as Tyler put it.
Yeah, you ever had sticky cheese?
That's not a thing.
Could be.
They're sticky cheese, but it's not that sticky that
Could
it will
be.
seal your mouth. Also, that seems like a huge health hazard.
Cheese with glue in it.
That's what it was. It was just glue.
With Elmer's glue.
It was just straight up like... I wouldn't be surprised if it was some sort of like localized anesthetic, like numbing their mouth.
Oh, so they just couldn't open it?
Like couldn't like control their tongue or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be funny and make more sense.
You ever had that happen to you?
Yeah, when I had my wisdom teeth taken out.
What'd they do?
I had localized and I'm pretty sure also general anesthetic.
That's dope.
So afterwards, like I would like, I kept poking my tongue
Yeah.
and my lip, going like, I can't feel my lip. And it was great.
Yeah, man. People get fucked up when they get their wisdom teeth out.
A couple of my coworker just got his out the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
How many do you have?
He got all 4 taken out, I'm pretty
You
sure.
had 4 of them? Trevor's sick, by the way. We already mentioned it, but I feel like I need to bring it back up.
I feel really bad about coughing, although I feel like Abby might just cut all that out.
You think so? I mean, she can't now. We're talking about it. The audio quality might be trash. Also, speaking of that, Trevor brought up our podcast to one of his coworkers, who then proceeded to talk about how bad our audio is. I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it's bad. I think it'll be better now that we're in this room with carpet.
I think it's fine.
But
We have 2 mics. It was way worse earlier.
Oh, the early days when we had one mic, mine, and we had to share it.
Yeah, we shared it with 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, that was great. Those were good days.
That's how you get true raw podcasts, you know?
Raw quality.
But yeah, so the next part, what happens after they start just arguing with each other as their mouths are shut? They do that bit for a little bit.
I think it then cuts to the premiere. And
oh, the guys are telling them they won, right?
yeah, they're just hanging out at the premiere talking about if you could be a girl for a day, would you?
Yeah, and they were like, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
I totally would. I'd take pictures of myself for later
Jesus.
and grab my own boobs.
Nice, Trevor.
I mean,
This is a family Christian podcast. How dare you?
what would you do?
Nothing.
You wouldn't.
I would go to church.
You would go to church as a woman. You don't go to church now.
I don't. No, I would never. Yeah, also shout out to people who are commenting on the vids. You guys are great. Keep up
we appreciate you guys a lot
Keep
more
up the
than you even
comments.
realize.
Abby really loved that comment. That finally said that someone liked her.
Yeah, honestly, I don't get why people don't like Abby that much. She's great, and fuck you guys for
She
not
gets a
liking
lot
her.
of hate mail.
But she got some nice stuff, and we appreciate that. User whose name I don't know.
You didn't see the comment.
I didn't see the comment, and I was told about the comment.
So then what's the next bit?
So the people are looking for Drake and Josh, and in the premiere, and they're like, "Hey, you guys won. This Saturday, make sure that nobody's in the house from these two times that they give them."
Yeah, I think it was like 10 to 5 or some shit like that. It was like a full working day almost.
Yeah, and leave a key under the mat.
Yeah, and they're like, we don't have a mat.
Buy a mat. Leave a key under it and make sure no one's home. And they're like, okay. This is something I feel like they should have. Never mind. No, that's later.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we cut to them coming home.
No.
No?
Drake is like, I want a podcast. And then
I want a podcast?
Oh, God, is that what I just said?
Yeah, it is.
I won a competition.
Contest. That's where you got podcast. It was very similar.
And then he goes and immediately just finds a girl like a magnet to another magnet.
He's like, I gotta kiss someone.
Boom, kisses her.
And she's like, what was that for? And he's like, I want a contest. She's like, yay. And then pulls him in for more kissing.
Yeah, and then Josh is like, well, I gotta do that.
So this woman's walking by, and he just grabs her and does the tilt. Yeah, the nice, like, romantic dip. And is like, I want a contest. And she's like, congratulations, man.
Yeah, she has a super deep voice.
So... Anyways, and Josh finds some gum in his mouth, and he states aloud to no one, I wasn't chewing gum.
Yeah.
So,
and then they're back at their house.
Then they show up at home, and it's late, and like obviously they've been out with their mom and dad, and we're like, all right, guys, surprise! And they open the door and turn on the lights, and everything's gone.
Just everything. It's a big old empty room. It really shows you how big that room is. Also, it reminds me of the episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when, I think it's the last episode, when they move out of their house, out of the mansion.
And everything's
empty. And the whole room is empty, and Will's just like on the steps, and he like turns off the lights and walks off.
Sad.
It's fucking classic. That's a good show. Damn. Sorry, I was just thinking about that. It's very emotional.
I've only seen some of Fresh Prince. I
really?
haven't seen all of it. Yeah.
I used to watch that show all the time when I was a kid.
It wasn't really...
It was on TBS constantly.
Maybe.
It was like that and Saved by the Bell, but I wouldn't watch Saved by the Bell. I would only watch Fresh Prince.
Didn't watch. I watched a lot of Home Improvement.
See, I didn't watch that because that show was not good.
I liked Home Improvement.
Tool Time?
Yeah.
The neighbor over the fence?
Wilson.
Classic Wilson.
Wait.
You only see the top bit of his head. So then they, basically they call the cops.
Yeah, they call
so
the
the
cops.
cops are there.
The cops show up, and so they're explaining what's going on. Megan comes home and is like, what happened? Walter's just sitting on the floor where the couch was.
Yeah.
And says, Drake and Josh let bad people into our home.
Yeah. So then...
the cops are like, hey, so let me get this straight. You signed up for a free room makeover from a TV show you've never heard of.
And they're like, yeah.
And then left your house empty all day when they told you to.
Yeah, so what do you think?
We think you're idiots.
Yeah. And then after that, I don't remember what happens in the middle of that, so I'm just going to jump
about
to
that,
straight when they got the egg thrown at them.
They really should have explained earlier in the thing that it was a show that they hadn't heard of.
Yeah, because I feel like the girl at the premiere was like, holy shit, the dude's from Pump My Room.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of people knew what this show was.
Yeah, so it would be a show like Extreme Home Makeover, like you were saying, or like...
I think that was in the Lost recording.
Yeah, I know. We mentioned the Lost recording, though.
Extreme Home Makeover or Bath Crashers.
I like referencing it as the Lost
Backyard
recording.
Crashers. Living Room Crashers. Kitchen Crashers.
Yeah. Trading Spaces.
Bedroom Crashers.
Do you remember that show with Ty Pennington before he was on Extreme Home Makeover?
Yeah. Remember that one.
That was a good one. I remember one of the episodes, the people went back to their house and they hated what they did with the room.
Really?
Those are always the good episodes.
That's not great. But yeah, so they didn't know, and the mom's like, Sergeant, whatever. So we don't have. I have coffee, but I don't have a coffee maker. And he's like, just bring it here with a spoon.
Yeah. He's like, bring me the coffee grounds and a spoon.
She's like, okay, and brings it to him. He just starts eating the coffee grounds.
Yeah, and he looks at, he's like, good coffee.
Fucking what, dude?
I mean, man, that would be fucking wild to just start chewing on some coffee grounds.
It'd be insane.
That'd be gross.
But yeah, so
Tyler throws a fucking egg at him.
Drake and Josh are like, man, what are we gonna do? We got to replace Mom and Dad's furniture.
Yeah.
And Josh is like, nah, we don't like. Or Josh is like, what are we gonna do? And Drake's like, oh, it's a good thing you have a job. Give me $20.
Yeah, so I
want to go buy tacos. Fucking what? What?
That's fucking classic Drake, dude.
It is classic Drake, but still.
And then Tyler throws the egg.
Yes, Tyler throws an egg at the cops and leaves the eggs by Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
And then the cops are like, hey, I should have charged you with assault. You threw an egg at me. And they're like, we didn't. And then the cops make him do 50 push-ups.
Yeah. He takes out his billy club, too.
His baton.
Yeah.
I think it's a billy club only in England.
Oh. Isn't it the same thing, though?
No, because the ones over here are collapsible.
That one wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
That one wasn't
But
one
it
of
was also
those
just
things.
a straight, I think it was more like a nightstick.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Are those not the same thing, a billy club and a nightstick?
Billy clubs are like a small baseball bat because they're rounded. They're
and
big.
the nightstick has that extra handle on it, right?
It has that extra bit, which I don't know what that's for.
So you can whip it around, twist it like a helicopter. Oh, so you can have it like a shield, right? So you can
Maybe.
hold it sideways.
Maybe.
So it becomes like a gauntlet.
Could be.
You can, Assassin's Creed style.
Bash a motherfucker. Okay.
So,
Next up, we got Drake and Josh going to a temp agency.
yeah, with the most horrible guy in the world that works there.
And they're like, we want jobs. And he's like, I want to go out with a woman who doesn't change her phone number after the first date. And it's like, okay. Your job is to give us jobs, though. Like,
yeah. The production design people did a good job of that room, though. It was dank and depressing. And, like, one of the walls that was...
tile.
Yeah, it was a tiled wall. Like, what the fuck? What is he, in a shower?
he might have been.
Yeah, the guy was greasy as fuck looking.
So he's like, all right, here's the jobs I have available for you, high schoolers.
Yeah. Well, Josh was wearing a suit. Come on.
True, and Drake was not.
He was just wearing, like, a
It looked
normal
like he was wearing like a Slav tracksuit, honestly.
A Slav tracksuit? What the fuck?
It kind of
like
was.
a Russian mobster.
Yeah, it kind of looked
Wasn't
like...
he wearing jeans, though, with it?
I thought he was wearing a tracksuit.
I mean, that would have been dope.
He's wearing a track jacket.
I hope it was a tracksuit. Yeah, it was definitely a track jacket.
Could have been jeans, could have not been.
Um,
But so he's like, all right, here's the jobs I have for you, like children, essentially. Ditch digger,
Yep.
bathroom attendant.
Yep.
I don't remember what else.
The other one was... I don't remember what the other one was. Bathroom attendant, ditch digger.
Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah,
and they're like, do we have
some
something
also trash.
not repulsive? And he's like, I've got that pays a bunch. And he's like, again, they're like, we want something not repulsive that pays a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I want to go out. And they're like, you already said that. And he's like, it happens every time.
Yeah, the people are always changing their number on that poor guy.
What's wrong with me? And they're like, anyway. He's like, how about food packer at a seafood plant?
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, what does that involve? Whoops. And he's like, well, you put seafood into little, or you put sushi into little like containers
yeah.
to go to local supermarkets. And they're like, yeah, and it pays $18 an hour.
And they're like, dope, we'll do that one.
Yeah, we're game. And he's like, all right, here's the address. Be there at 8:00 Saturday morning.
Yeah, so they fucking bolt out of the room. And then it stays on him, and he like takes a number out of his desk or whatever and starts dialing a number on his phone.
He looks very optimistic.
Yeah, he's real pumped. He's happy. And then it just says, this number is not being connected to a line anymore, or whatever the fuck.
His number has been disconnected, and he's just like slams his hands on the table, and it's like every time.
Poor guy.
And then hits his lotion while screaming stupid lotion.
Yeah.
for some reason the lotion.
I was for sure thought he was gonna start jerking it. I mean, why else would his lotion be at the desk?
Why was his lotion at the desk?
That's a good question,
Because he is jerking it on.
So then it cuts to an exterior of the plant, which is
called Ball and Vance, which
could be a reference.
The Ball part is definitely a reference to Lucille Ball.
What's the Vance?
I don't know.
Vance Refrigeration
from
The Office.
100%.
Yeah, so then they're on the inside interior shot of them at the conveyor belt with the person who's like a plant manager or something. I don't know what she is.
She's
a
their
line
boss.
manager. Yeah. And you said she's from what show?
I feel like I recognize her from Legally Blonde 2, according to her IMDb page.
Yeah, so she could have been in that. Well, she was in it, but
she was in Legally Blonde 2.
Who knows what he remembers?
I think I remember her from it, though. When I saw that, I was like, that sounds right.
Yeah.
She looked familiar.
And she does the classic thing where she's like, let the sushi roll.
And Josh laughs, like, that's a good pun. And she's like, no.
It was
so an unfortunate pairing of words.
It's like the best line.
It's a very good
line. Sushi roll.
So their whole job is like they have sushi that comes out of the one window, and they have to put it in the little plastic trays, and then it goes through the other window.
Yeah, she's like, don't let it go through the other side.
If any unpackaged sushi goes to the other side, you're fired.
Yeah.
And you'll be escorted out this door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as it starts, after she says, let the sushi roll, and she leaves the room, they're talking shit. They're like, oh, this is easy as fuck.
There's like 3 pieces.
They're like, whoa, we're like packaging sushi. This is easy. And then the shit starts going faster and faster.
They're like, hey, wow, this is picking up a little bit.
Yeah, they like start screaming, like, slow it down. And then they're trying all these different things to like get the sushi off the conveyor belt so it doesn't go through. So they start just taking it off the side at first, which is like a normal thing. And then they start going to more extreme things, like what you were about to say.
Drake throws one at the ceiling and is like, they stick, and just starts chucking them at the ceiling.
Josh is putting some of them into his mouth.
He's eating some. He's shoving some down his pants.
Yeah, Drake is putting some of them down his apron.
He's putting some in their hats.
Yeah.
It's just, I think at one point, maybe this. So
Josh jumps on the thing.
They jump on it, and then the lady comes back in and is like, wow, you guys are doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because like the line has stopped.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, thank you. And it's like they're like spilling sushi out from under their clothes.
Yeah, it's all coming out of his mouth.
And she yells, speed it up a little.
Speed it up a little.
It was good.
And the thing goes, and it just starts going again.
How does it go?
And then the little green light turns on, and it starts really fucking kicking it. And
he
so
jumps
much
on
sushi.
it again.
Drake fucking sticks his arm down the end side of the conveyor belt, and he's getting like sucked in.
I don't think they packed after that was initial like 2.
Yeah.
I don't think they packed a single other package of sushi.
Yeah, they were fucked.
It was all just going through that other window or being stuck to the ceiling.
Yeah.
So they obviously got
because they also took like a big pause when he was like, it's sticking on the roof. And
like 5 went through. He was then.
They were because it was a shot that didn't include the conveyor belt. It was like a medium like cowboy shot. No, it was up when he first said it, and they were looking at the roof because it was like a higher up shot, and it didn't show the conveyor belt. A fuckload would have went through though, as they were just like staring at the ceiling.
I could have swore it showed the conveyor belt, and we saw like 7 or 8 pieces go through.
Not in that part, no.
Okay, well.
And then so after that they come home, and then they're
like, oh my god,
they're like, man, I fucking stink like fish.
There's something in my pants. It's like spicy tuna.
Really
very spicy. As they're like plopping down on the couch and relaxing, they're like, man, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get mom and dad's furniture back?
Yeah.
And then Drake is like, starts like looking around rapidly and hits the couch and is like, it's back. Josh is like, it's all back. And Drake's like, we did it. And Josh is like, we didn't do anything.
That's such a fucking great line.
Oh, that was such a good moment.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any other notes.
Mom and dad come in and they're like, you guys surprised? They're like, yeah, what happened? They're like, oh, well, the cops found the van broken down the street like a block away or something like that.
Yeah.
And so everything's back. And they're like, everything. So
that's pretty much the episode. Oh, and then after that, they start walking back up to the room, I think, or something like that. And
yeah, because mom and dad left to go to their anniversary dinner where the soup is $30.
Yeah, and as they're walking away, he's like, "Don't get the soup."
Yeah,
Yeah, they get caught in a big net.
They get caught in a big net, and they're like, "Oh my god, this was Megan's assistant,
Tyler.
Did I write that down? I did.
Yeah, and when he's first in the net, Josh he keeps just repeating, "Hello."
Hello.
Yeah. So then Megan comes out and she
I
fired him. Or
yeah,
whatever?
I fired Tyler because I realized there's no fun in tormenting you unless I'm the one doing it.
Which is fair, because like why?
Yeah, of course. Like
At that point, you're just being a bitch.
yeah. At that point, you're a supervillain.
We have minions.
Yeah. So she just leaves them, and they're like, "Can you let us down?" And then she's like, "Okay," and hits the button and just drops them hard on the floor where they broke their backs and died.
For sure.
And then that's it. What was the end credit scene of this one?
I do not remember.
I don't either.
I don't know.
It wasn't very good, apparently.
We didn't take any notes on it.
It was probably something in the Sushi Factory.
Maybe, yeah. So what do you rate this episode?
6.5. Honestly, it was okay.
6.5 quatlers
Out of 10, yeah, quatlers.
I think I will give it a. I think 6.5 is right. I think I'm gonna go 6.5 because I wanted to go 7. And I was like, it wasn't funny.
It wasn't that good, but
No,
it wasn't bad.
It is iconic though because the sushi.
It's only iconic because Lucille Ball.
Yeah, which I didn't even know was a thing until I was in college, and then I realized it was a ripoff of or an homage to
Homage.
I Love Lucy. Yeah, 6.5 I think is right. I agree with you on that. So who do we want to shout out?
Well, let's shout out. I'm gonna shout out Carol Hennessy, who is the sushi lady, Miss Abernathy.
Dope last name. And I'm gonna shout out who did.
What about? I'm also gonna do Chris Divicaros.
And I'm gonna do Josh Inch, the set dresser, because I liked the room when it was empty. They had like the shit around where
they had like
the furniture would
outlines,
be.
like dust outlines and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, that was nice.
I guess that would also be the set dressers, Walt Strom and Ron Paul Vale.
Good job, everybody.
They did a great job.
And Chris was property master. That was my shout out. My other one.
So yeah, they all did a great job. Any final thoughts, Trev?
Nah, just nope. That's it.
I'm
brother. Happy with this.
Yeah, it was decent. Definitely only iconic for really one scene, and the rest of it's kind of nah.
Yeah, I did whenever we were first looking at it, I was like, oh my god, the I Love Sushi, and then the moment they were like the room crashers thing, I was like, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
all the stuff gets stolen.
Yeah.
Totally forgotten about that part until they talked about the pump up my room or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so I've been Jacob.
I've been Trevor.
And go watch some Drake and Josh.